Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Ray. I got a video today from Filipina P. Again, I'm getting close to 100K by the end of the year. If you guys can help me sub to 100K, I'd really appreciate that. So get that chow. It's chow time.
Hi folks, the Filipina P here. And I've been watching this 4B movement for quite some time now, like a fly on the wall. But you know me, I just have to weigh in.
I have been waiting
Western
on this.
women are having another one of their temper tantrums. So let's see what it's all about this time. So for those of us that don't already know, what exactly is the 4B movement?
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those four things all start with the letter B. The movement officially got its name in 2019 and it's just been going ever since. It's so successful, in fact.
It's been going in the United States, but it's not really successful in Korea itself.
That now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths.
No, they already had this issue before the 4B movement. Don't think that the 4B movement was so powerful that it actually caused the country to be, in death rates instead of birth rates.
In South Korea outnumber the number of births in South Korea. And it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my God, what do we do? They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to date us. What do we do? Everything's in shambles. We don't know what to do. When South Korean women have been very clear from day one, they're like, hey, either you get your act together or we are literally eliminating all of this. We are shutting it down.
And that's how you know how selfish women are. They'd rather have the demise of their own race, according to her, than to actually work together and make things better.
So you think it's a hilarious success when a country's birth rate crashes? Which actually started in South Korea in 2002, long before this movement started. And you think that by shaving your heads, you'll get people to take you seriously? And yet that's exactly what women across the country are doing. Shaving themselves bald as a way of protesting something. So what seems to be the issue now?
All right. I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens. Have I given up on America? I've also given up on coloring this hair. Having my hair be long and luxurious. Being skinny.
You really think your hair is luxurious right now? Okay.
Being hot. Being all the things that the patriarchy wants us to be.
So that's the problem. You're tired of looking hot and having long, luxurious hair, and it's the patriarchy's fault. So the way to fix things is to be ugly?
Yep.
Well, I think you can put the scissors down right now, because it's already mission accomplished.
Here we go. Here we go. We're cutting it off because you. That's why. You think I'm crazy? Me too. Crazy. Now,
how is it a fuck you to men in any way, shape, or form?
Sorry, if you're a man, I will not be responding to you. If you are a man, I will not be talking to you.
Somehow I don't think they'll mind very much. You don't seem like a very approachable person anyway.
Women, stop dating men. Stop having sex with men. Stop talking to men. Divorce your husbands. Leave them. And I promise you, come over to this side. I will bake cookies. I will shave your head if you want me to, depending on how this turns out.
Well, given how that turned out, I think I'll pass on cookies and Chrome Dome. But I still don't see the problem. Why are you women doing this?
Do not get it twisted, my fellow American men.
Wait, you're an American man? Now I'm really confused. But I agree about not getting it twisted. You guys say it's really painful.
It's not like Korean ideas came over here and convinced women to stop dating, stop getting married, stop having sex, and stop having children with y'all. It's always outside influences with you fellas, right? It's always like our friends who told us to get a divorce, or it's some trend that we
How is it not usually your friend that do tell you about the divorce?
saw on Instagram or whatever.
Or like shaving your heads, or all of you making TikTok videos. No, women never follow trends on social media.
Right?
No, you did it. You men. You convinced us all that we are good, that we don't need you, and we're fine. on our own.
You know, we are the ones that gave you the abilities to do these things in the first place, right?
So, yeah, it was your skid marks, it was your farts, it was your lack of consideration and caring, it was your lack of hygiene in general, it was your gaming, it was your corn addictions, it was the fact that you don't listen when we talk.
Oh, sorry, what? Last thing I heard was something about skid marks, farts, and corn addiction. Who the hell did you marry?
It's the fact that you don't improve when we ask you to. It's the fact that the minute you get us, every single thing that you did to convince us to like you in the first place goes away.
Oh, you mean like when you marry a woman who pretends to enjoy BJ's until the papers are signed?
We married you, we had your kids, we fed you dinner, we kept your house.
They married you. They raised your children. They brought home the bacon. They mowed the lawn. So where are we going with this?
When you hear about American women and the 4B movement, no, it was not Asian invaders who changed our minds about.
Oh, no, it wasn't Asian invaders. No, you guys are just so stupid. You went to Asia and stole their movement and to make it your own because you thought it made sense.
Men. It was men.
It was men that did what? Played games and passed gas? Sounds like a normal relationship to me. So let me get this straight. You're done with men completely and no more offspring.
We can live without the morons, okay? And if you're
This is so true. We could live without the morons. That's why you guys are probably not going to be propagating and, reproducing.
continuing to procreate with morons, you're just making little morons. We have the power to make morons go extinct.
Why, yes. Yes,
Yourself.
you do. We might disagree on who the morons are, but taking yourself out of the gene pool will definitely solve the problem.
Pretty much.
And you out here going half on a baby with a moron that hasn't even bought you a ring or signed paperwork to commit
Who's the moron in this particular scenario, girl?
their life to you. You need to see paperwork. You need to see funds in the bank account. You need to quit being on this fantasy and just being all in la la land as a woman and just thinking that love is sex or love is attention. Love is respect. If he respects
No fucking shit. This is what men have been telling you this whole time. Respect.
you, he will put his life on the line and sign some paperwork for you.
Okay, I actually agree. Don't spread your legs for just any guy that comes along. Try using some restraint. Haven't people been telling you that all along? So you're not rejecting all men, just men that won't put their life on the line by signing a document that puts them at risk. Got it. So now the dating thing is back on the table?
I deleted all of my dating apps about 6 to 7 months ago. I do not go on dates with men. I do not hook up with men. I do not even give them any attention. I had already had so many terrible experiences with dating apps. The men on those apps are just awful.
Oh, I completely agree. Guys have no clue how bad those dating apps are. The women there are all just peaches. They're so honest and they never insult the guys or try to get the money out of them.
They genuinely like us, they don't care about our height, our money, and all that.
Or play with their hearts. It's only the men that are the problem.
When I'm at the club with my friends, and yes, I still go to the club.
Of course you do.
Contrary to popular belief,
I thought you said you didn't want attention from men.
women go to clubs to have fun, not to find men.
Sure.
Oh, please. Give me a break. Women go to clubs to get validation and attention from men. They don't go for the loud music and overpriced liquor. If you want to get away from men, the club is about the last place to go.
This one time I went to a bar with my friend and the manager asked for my number and then I said no. Don't make it weird. I came here for a drink. I came here to chill with my friend. Don't do this. Men need to stop feeling so comfortable.
Stop feeling so comfortable?
And just asking you for a number and approaching you.
You're at a bar. Where do you think people go to meet the opposite sex? How's the guy supposed to know you're one of those 4B weirdos? Why don't you identify yourself by shaving your head?
Exactly.
But I bet you won't be doing that, will you? Okay, we got it. No man allowed under any circumstances.
If there's a man who meets my criteria, then I will consider dating him.
Oh, I see. If he's not good looking enough, he's an annoying creep. But if he gives you the tingles, then you might date him. But how does the guy know unless he approaches you? So you're no longer dating men unless you like him, but that doesn't sound any different than before.
Right?
Are any of you actually sticking to the 4B rules?
This is why we say the 4B movement failed before it even started.
Hey guys, at some point I just realized that it's really difficult and confusing and frustrating trying to converse with men, especially men of an age where they will copulate.
So older men that were around the same age as you don't want you. Gotcha.
12 years old and up.
I have decided that there's just too much drama and too much going on, and men just cause too much drama and they don't listen and they gaslight and they're like, no, you have emotions. You have emotions too, you just don't realize it.
Wait a sec. Men are causing drama, but it's the women shaving their heads. As for not showing emotion, maybe that's because when they do, you think they're weak and don't respect them.
So call it 4B, call it what you want. I just don't see dating anybody in my future when 50.
It's always these troll-like women that seem to have the most to say about it, don't they?
50% of the people I could pick off the street that would be interested
You
in
literally
me
have
would
troll
be
makeup on.
aligning with bigotry and anti-science rhetoric. And then additionally, it's like men are gonna start lying about liking Trump now is their thing. I don't want to even be in that situation ever. Like, don't put me in a situation where a man could be lying about Trump.
No, somehow the election is the reason you won't talk to men? Well, I hate to tell you, but anyone could be lying about anything.
Correct.
So I guess that takes you out of the dating pool forever. I'm sure guys are crying themselves to sleep. But everyone's got a right to their preferences. At least you're not being nasty about it just because you don't like the way they voted.
So you want to get back at your dad for voting for Donald Trump, do you, pumpkin?
There that
I have
goes.
a great idea. Show up to Thanksgiving with a shaved head and see what happens. Other dad mad options would include getting a tattoo on your face or your neck or even your hands.
Right. To fuck your own prospect of marriage, husband, work, job, everything by tattooing your face. Gotcha.
Maybe. Ooh, or a facial piercing. That'll really set him off.
Well, isn't that nice? Ruin your body to
Isn't
hurt
that
your
what
own
you do
father.
anyways?
So what good is that supposed to do? Make some kind of positive change in the world? Or just something a spoiled little brat would do? I'm certainly glad you won't be having any kids, because one of them might turn out like you, and you're disgusting. So what do the guys think about all this? Surely they've got some words of wisdom.
The most wild thing to me about the 4B movement is the outpouring of women who are realizing how much of a good idea it is, and the outpouring of men who are like, they can do that? I know it's a fairly recent thing, man, but yeah, women can get their own homes, live their own lives, and do basically everything that they want to without centering men around their lives.
You know what the wildest thing to me is? That you think men don't already know that women can do
Right?
that. Where have you been? Oh, I know.
We're not
You've been off at
stupid.
school getting your mind polluted.
You would think that some of you would see this as a step towards getting rid of the patriarchy. Men might have to start doing insane things in order to attract women, like having a personality.
Hey, you want a glass?
Is that how you got your girl, Mother Chucker, with your great personality?
Oh, sorry. I think you've had enough Kool-Aid. So is there anything else we don't know about the 4B movement?
It is iconic. Iconic. And I believe there was another movement that I'm remembering, like in this moment, of maybe a Northern European country where the women were so upset that none of them went to work for like a few days and like their economy was like collapsing.
No, economy was perfectly fine. Didn't change much.
Can you imagine what would happen if men didn't show up for work? No electricity, no water, no products getting shipped.
If we didn't work for a day and then came back to work for a day, oh my God, the amount of things that we'd have to fix, it would be so much more chaos for us to come back and fix everything to get back to normal if all men were gone for a day.
You have no clue, do you?
But I think about that for us. Like imagine we're 51% of our country's population in the United States. Imagine if all of us just stopped purchasing things for one day. We didn't purchase anything on our credit cards, on our debit cards. The economy would literally dismantle itself.
Well,
And you do realize you are part of the economy, so you fuck your own economy over, so you just fucked your own money over.
no. I can't imagine women lasting a single day without buying anything. But once
True.
again, what's your point? Work the economy to prove you can? Yep, that's female logic, all right.
Right?
Okay, so let me get this all straight. Women are once again angry because men like to fart while playing video games and feeding their corn addiction, and women don't want to have anything to do with them unless they're cute enough or want to get married. And if you don't like the way they voted, you have to shave your head and tattoo your face to be mean to your dad? Okay, got it. We done here?
I'd like to propose an amendment to the 4B movement.
Oh, for God's sake, what now?
Right?
And that amendment will state that there will be no going back and forth with men in our comments on social media. Men like this, their sole purpose in life is to harvest energy from women. And if they can't harvest your energy through labor, through having their kids, through having relations with them and relationships with them, they're going to be harvesting your energy
What labor are you talking about?
via your emotions. Protect your energy because they're coming for it.
Those bastards, now they're coming for your energy. Well, then you should be happy about the election. He wants to make you energy independent. But I still think
It
you
reminds me of that one vampire show with the energy vampire where he just drains people's energy by being like a troll.
ladies don't understand how misguided the movement is. You're actually harming other women.
This so-called 4B movement going on in the States at the moment is actually beyond disrespectful to women. I'll say this, you are allowed to not be happy with the results of the American election.
Sure.
But going online, shaving your heads so that way men will have nothing to do with you, their words, by the way, is so beyond disrespectful and rude to women who have alopecia and are going through chemo treatment at the moment. I can't even begin to put into words. Not just that, do any of these women who are doing this realize actually how privileged they are in life? Claiming you have no rights or you're losing your rights while you set up your phone, most likely your iPhone, which will be costing at least $1,000, in a tripod, making sure you get the perfect lighting, to then get a shaver or some scissors or whatever, film yourself shaving or chopping off all your hair, and then posting it on social media to prove a point. And claiming to have no rights, I'm sorry, it's an absolute mockery. I've always said I'm a feminist, but a traditional feminist, where I just want equal rights. This new wave of feminism to me is absolute bullshit. I'm sorry, this has really ticked me off because I just feel so sorry for any woman who has alopecia or going through cancer treatment or anything else, any other reason why she just doesn't have her hair. And you have all these other women saying, I'm doing this so that way men will have nothing to do with me. They'll hate the way I look. They think I'm just...
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Women hate women. That's why they do all these things to harm themselves.
disgusting. You don't realize how disrespectful you're being to actual women? And saying you don't have any rights. There are actual countries in this world where women really have no rights. The legal age of consent in Iraq is being lowered to 9. In Afghanistan, women aren't even allowed to speak in public, have no access to education, aren't allowed to show their faces, their hair, or anything. Not a choice, they're not allowed. They can't drive. Literally have no rights at all. All because you disagree with what the majority of Americans had voted for. This is what you do, claiming you have no rights. As I said, you are entitled to not like the election results.
Of course.
No one's going to say you're not. But the amount of privilege coming from the videos on TikTok with these women doing it is just frankly disgusting.
It is.
That they're saying you have no rights. Really?
Well, I totally agree. But these don't seem like the kind of women who give a crap about society, their
Nope.
parents, or pretty much anyone but themselves.
Yep.
So what do you expect? Now let's hear what Candace Owens has to say, and then I'll tell you what I think.
What are we to make of the 4B movement? Are we supposed to ridicule these women or do we choose compassion? That's kind of the big question that people are grappling with.
Us in this space, we're just ridiculing. I don't feel any sympathy or anything towards these women.
I think these people should be ridiculed and I believe that these people should be condemned. And I'm going to tell you why. It is because compassion is the reason that we are in this circumstance. This is what nobody wants to tell you, okay? Everybody wants to be kind, to give hugs. That is the problem. These are the most remarkably privileged people in the entire world, and they're privileged because we are giving them too much compassion. We tell them every feeling that they have is valid. It's not. We have to understand that this culture that we have fostered over the last 15 years is not working, okay? These kids are privileged. They've never been told no. They're whiny. They're bratty. So yes, condemn them, ridicule them because their parents have failed them.
Well, I don't always agree with Candace on everything, but
True.
I do think the women over there have no clue how privileged they actually are.
Yep.
But I blame the education system even more than the parents.
I think it's societal, media and everything does it too.
So, what are we supposed to do about all this? Well, as far as I can tell, nothing. I haven't talked to a single man that's even slightly concerned.
Nope.
Most of you regard this infantile tantrum as just another cry for attention.
Yep.
You've seen it before.
Yep.
You'll see it again, and you refuse to play along.
Yep.
Yesterday, it was mansplaining and microaggressions. Today, it's hygiene and video games. And tomorrow, it'll be breathing with your mouth open. It's the women who are
It could be breathing with our nose open soon, actually.
moving the goalpost in a never-ending game of whack-a-mole with new problems popping up every day. Even if you gave them everything they wanted, it'd just be something different tomorrow. If Western women don't want to have anything to do with men, then don't. But why disfigure yourselves and become part of a herd? All you're doing is helping men identify you as undesirable, and I'm sure they appreciate that. But I do think it's a very effective movement. Effective in sending more men to places like the Philippines, where you won't have to put up with belligerent, disagreeable man-haters. Some of these Western women think they can make you suffer and pay because they're the only option. But they always seem to forget about the millions of women over here
Yep.
who are just waiting to show you what a real woman's like. Filipinas accept you, skid marks and all. Well, that's it for today's episode. And I'll be back on Tuesday with something that will shock you.
It really goes to show who built society, because if it was up to women, we would have been extinct a long time ago. Because once they didn't get their way or whatever it was, they would have just ended humanity by not procreating. Which back in the day probably wasn't even a thing, because men would have probably just raped them anyways. But nowadays, because laws and men are much more civilized, we don't do those things. And yet now they're so privileged beyond belief that they're willing to kill themselves off. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Catch you guys next time. Ciao.